Welcome to Mr. T's Algebra Breeze. I'm going to show you an alternative to grouping. When we get binomials, or excuse me, quadrinomials, such as 2x squared minus 6x, quadrinomial has four terms. Teachers often teach factoring this by a method called grouping. I'm going to show you something much easier than grouping, a method that really just shows you what you need exactly. It almost gives you the answers. Now, if you're a high school student, a college student, even a teacher trying to get kids through factoring something with four terms, this is much, much easier. Now, what I'm going to use is the FOIL that I'm going to write up here, which stands for FOIL. Now, if you've never seen this, all this means is that you're going to put something in parentheses below where the first in each pair of parentheses would give you this term, the outers would give you this, the inners would give you this, and the last would give you this. Now, I'll show that to you in detail because I'm sure it's not clear if you haven't used the FOIL method before. But the first thing you always do, and always remember this, with trinomials, with a quadrinomial like this, is make sure there's no greatest common factor. So there's no number I can divide into all of these terms, and there's no letter that they all share, no variable. So let's just put down your parentheses like this, and we'll proceed to figure out what goes in the parentheses. Now, first means the first thing in this parenthesis times the first thing in this parenthesis has to give us this term up here. So that would be a 2x times an x. I think we can all agree on that. All right, now the O just means the outers. And the outers would be the outside term in this parenthesis pressing towards the outside. And the outside term here pressing towards the outside. Now that can be a little confusing for people. Many of you have done trinomials already, but let me just explain this a little bit further for those that may be stuck still, even on trinomials. But if you had a cardboard box, and it's one of the top 10 toys that finally made the list, one of the top 10 toys of all time, and you were to play inside the box, like a lot of kids do, the outer terms are the ones that are pressing against the outside of this box. The 2x here, and then something here, not the x here and not this one here. They would be like on the inside of the box. So the outsides, I need something here and something here. You could even put a blank if you want to make negative 6x. And look, it actually tells me that it wants a negative. So that's already positive. I'm not going to change that. Once you put something in here, don't change it unless you check things and it's wrong. But that times that is perfect, so leave that alone. Put something here times that will give me negative 6x. And that would have to be negative 3. It even told me what sign to use. And then the inners right here, inners. The inners are right here towards the inside of the box, right in here, okay? So I need a plus Rx. Well, I've already got an X, so it looks like I need a plus R. They just told me what sign to use. It's that easy. And then the last is the last thing in this parenthesis, reading from left to right, and the last thing in this parenthesis, reading from left to right. And it automatically should give you this if you did it correctly. So negative 3 times R, or R times negative 3, bingo, negative 3R, you're done. We didn't do any kind of grouping. We just used the FOIL method, and it's telling us what it wants right up here. If you look up here, here are the answers it actually wants, and it even gives you the proper signs to put down inside the parentheses. All right, so let's try another one. Take a look at something like 27 a squared plus 3ax minus 36ax minus 4x squared. Okay, now again, make sure that they're really check for a greatest common factor. So there's no number I can divide into all of these constants up here, and they don't all share a variable that I can factor out. Okay, so what we're going to have to do is put down our parentheses again. I should say coefficients up here. You know, there's no number that goes into all the coefficients. They're not constants. But the thing you want to do is always put that first, outer, inner, last up here. And what here, again, you could put blanks, put a blank here, put a blank here. But what times what is going to give me a 27a squared? Well, you could try 1a times 27a, but I'll tell you a secret. The people that make up worksheets, they usually pick numbers that are close together. I'm not saying it couldn't be a 1 times a 27, but I'm going to try a 3 times a 9. Let me try that. See if that works. Okay, so 3a times 9a, yeah, gives me that. Now the outers. It wants to have something here, that's an outer, and something here, that's an outer. That will give me a positive 3ax. Well, I've already got the 3a, so all I need is a positive x. You know, just double check. That times that, yeah, definitely gives me that. And it's telling me what to do for the inners. The answer's right there. It definitely wants a minus. You know, this is a positive 9a. This inner times this inner. Put a blank if you want. But I need a negative something, and it looks like I just need a negative 4x. Now double check. Yeah, that times that, bingo, gives me that. And then the last times the last should automatically already be there. You don't even have to think about it, but double check, is negative 4x times x really going to give me negative 4x squared? Yeah, it does. I'm done. I'm done without doing that group. All right, let's try a couple more. Maybe one with a greatest common factor in there. I probably shouldn't give it away, but let's try 3x cubed plus 3bx squared. This one looks like a mess already. Minus 3ax, actually ax squared, and minus 3abx. I mean, what a mess. Try grouping this one. I don't even want to do that. All right, now the first things first. Is there a greatest common factor I can divide into all of these coefficients? Yes, 3. All right, but not so quick. Hold on. Always check the variables also. Is there something I can divide into all of these variables here? And it looks like they all share an x. Yeah, they definitely do. So put an x out here like this, and then put a big pair of parentheses and tell me what's left over. You've done this before with greatest common factors. So 3x times what will get me back to this? Looks like I need an x squared. And then I need a plus what? Bx. You know, be careful. Make sure that you get that greatest common factor out correctly. Go back. Does this times this really give me that? Yeah. Does this times this get me back to that? Yes. And then I need something to get a negative 3ax squared. So it looks like I need what? A minus ax. Double check. That times that, yeah, minus 3ax squared. And then this times what to get me back to this? So, what a mess. But minus ab, it looks like to me. Double check my math here. But that times that, yeah, definitely gets me back to that. Okay, so we took care of that pesky greatest common factor. And then all we have to do, you know, make sure you bring down the greatest common factor. Don't leave that sitting upstairs there. That's part of the answer. But then all I'm going to do is the non-grouping method again. I'm just going to use the FOIL right here. First outer, inner, last. Okay, so what times what is x squared? That's not too tough. See how much easier this thing is once you take out the greatest common factor? And then the outers. Okay, the outers again, this times something here to give me a positive bx. It's telling me positive. So I'm not going to put a minus there. I'm going to put a positive b times that gives me that. It's that simple. And then what here times this would give me negative ax. You can just bring that sign down, negative a. That's simple. And then this times this, I hope it gives me that. Bingo, it does. I am perfect. Golden, right there. You can be perfect doing this grouping. It makes things a heck of a lot simpler if you just follow that method. All right, look for some more of Mr. T's Algebra Breeze later on with other tricks to make your algebra easier.